Hey everyone, and welcome. We're about to go on a trip through time and through a whole lot of brick and steel to unpack the architectural story of New York City. We're going to see exactly how a tiny trading post transformed into that legendary skyline we all know today. It's a story that's literally written in stone and glass. So let me ask you this. What actually turns a city into a legend? Is it the people, the history? I mean, yeah. But I'd argue the real answer is written right there in its skyline. Every single building tells a piece of the story, and today, we're gonna read that story together. All right, so every story has a beginning, and ours starts way back. Long before the skyscrapers, long before the glitz, New York was just a practical, low-rise settlement. It was built for survival and for commerce, definitely not for show. For its first couple of centuries, everything was driven by function. You know, we start in 1624 with these simple wooden structures built by the Dutch. Then the British take over, they bring in more permanent brick and stone. Fast forward to 1811, you get the grid plan that locks in the city's famous layout. But even by 1850, it's still a city built for business at street level, not for reaching the clouds. The one word to remember: pragmatism. And that brings us to this, a really crucial turning point. The entire philosophy of the city's architecture just started to shift, and shift dramatically. Buildings went from being just about shelter and commerce to being public performances, these grand, over-the-top statements of incredible wealth and power. And this new philosophy, it absolutely exploded to life during what we call the Gilded Age. This was an era of just insane wealth. You had these industrial titans, the robber barons as they were called, and they weren't just competing in business anymore. No, they were competing to build the most extravagant, eye-catching, jaw-dropping structures imaginable. I mean, just look at the details from this era. We're talking incredibly ornate facades, just dripping with decoration. Architects were borrowing ideas from grand European palaces. It's a style known as Beaux Arts. Think classical columns, arches, sculptures, all baked right into the building. They were using the most expensive materials they could get their hands on: marble, limestone, bronze. And the interiors? Just as theatrical. The goal was crystal clear: project power and sophistication. This quote right here just perfectly captures the spirit of the time. The city wasn't just a place to live anymore. It had become this massive public stage. And these magnificent buildings, they were the lead actors, and every single one was demanding your attention. But as land got more and more valuable, and let's be honest, as egos got bigger and bigger, there was really only one direction left to go: up. So the 20th century kicks off this spectacular race to the clouds, and it was all fueled by new technologies that would change the face of New York forever. So how did they pull it off? Well, it really boils down to two game-changing innovations. First up, the steel skeleton. This internal frame could carry all the building's weight, which meant the walls at the bottom didn't have to be ridiculously thick anymore. And second, the safety elevator. Because what good is a 50-story building if nobody can get to the top, right? These two inventions together unlocked the vertical city. Okay, one of the first true superstars of the skyline was the Woolworth Building. They nicknamed it the Cathedral of Commerce, and you can see why. Its soaring, neo-Gothic design was just breathtaking. It didn't just scrape the sky, it was reaching for it. It became the world's tallest building and a monument to the power of American business. Then came the Roaring '20s and the age of Art Deco. And honestly, nothing captures this style better than the Chrysler Building. With its shimmering, terraced crown, these sunburst patterns, and those geometric gargoyles, it was this sleek, metallic celebration of the machine age and, of course, the prestige of the auto industry. But the ultimate icon was only a year away: the Empire State Building. What's incredible is that it was completed in record time, right in the middle of the Great Depression. It became the definitive symbol of New York's and America's unbreakable ambition. It was this defiant statement of hope, piercing the sky when everything on the ground looked bleak. 102. That's the number of stories in the Empire State Building. Just let that number sink in for a second. It represents a scale of building, a whole vertical world that was simply unimaginable to the people who were living in those little brick houses just a generation or two earlier. Okay, so after World War II, the mood shifted again. All those decorative, romantic styles of the past, suddenly they just felt dated. A new, streamlined, and very global philosophy took over: modernism. It was called the International Style. And its philosophy was pretty simple. Less is more. Forget the gargoyles, forget the spires. This was all about pure form, clean lines, and a kind of stark honesty in the materials. We're talking glass, steel, and concrete, the whole shebang. And this chart just contrasts the two eras perfectly. I mean, look at the goal. Art Deco was all about being decorative and symbolic. The International style, functional and universal. The form went from that classic stepped-back spire to a clean glass box. The detailed, ornate facade was replaced by a sheer, minimalist curtain wall, which is basically a non-structural glass skin just hanging on the building's frame. It was a complete revolution, really, and it reflected this bigger shift from the ambition of individual tycoons to the more anonymous, collective power of global corporations. So, from a practical Dutch outpost to those opulent Gilded Age palaces, from the defiant Art Deco spires to the sleek modernist boxes, what we see is a city that is in a state of constant reinvention. The skyline isn't some static monument. It's a living, breathing document of the city's ambitions, its economy, and its very identity. And all of this leaves us with one last thought. As our own skylines continue to evolve, with new materials, new technologies, new priorities, what story will our buildings tell the future about us?